Here's a really good example from Mkking Christmas that we had to trim.
That's interesting. Ooh, I like that.
Christmas presents really are the biggest thrill. Inside each box a mystery, a million ways to fill this thing. And when I think I've done the best,
but each one's prettier than the next. Making Christmas. Making Christmas. Making Christmas.
it's a real neat thing.
Here's a little section from Oogie Boogie's dance that was removed, primarily because it was going to be a little too difficult to make miniature armatures for all those dancing bugs on his arm.
Well, if I'm feeling antsy and there's nothing much to do, I might just cook a special batch of snake and spider stew. And don't you know the one thing that would make it work so nice? A roly-poly Santa Claus to add a little spice. Whoa, yeah! Whoa! Oh, yeah! I'm the Oogie Boogie Man.
A surprisingly different storyline that ultimately wasn't pursued is illustrated in these storyboards.
So long, Jack!
How dare you treat my friends so shamefully?
What? Now you've done it, Jack! You meddling stick figure! You've crossed the line this time, Jack! I'm Oogie Boogie! You haven't beaten me yet! There's no monster scarier, meaner, hungrier!
Dr. Finkelstein, what are you doing?
Yes, Jack Skellington, it's me. Me, the man who created Sally from bits of flesh and scraps of cloth. But she loves you, Jack, you oblivious twit. As Oogie Boogie, I wanted to teach her a lesson that she'd never forget. I'm through with both of you. I'm going to make myself a new creation. Someone who will appreciate me. Igor! Master! Farewell, Jack Skellington!
I don't believe this.
This sequence is the original-length version of Jack's Christmas experiments, where he attempts to get to the true meaning of Christmas through science. Some of the best gags had to be cut simply because of time.
Interesting reaction. But what does it mean?
Here's Here's an example of a test shot that was changed at the last moment where we replaced the severed head of Mr. Tim Burton with a jack-o'-lantern. Here's an example of almost an entire sequence that was removed from the film after it had gone to animation.
What's happening? What's happening? Let's go down and take a peek. Yay! Hurry, hurry!
You monster!
This isn't over. Not by a long shot. You wait till Jack finds out about this.
The king of Halloween has been blown to smithereens. Skeleton Jack is now a pile of dust.
Pile of dust! Pile of dust! Skeleton Jack is a pile of dust!
Oh, if only Jack...
But he isn't. Ever.
This can't be happening!
Hang on to that thought, Sandy.
Seven again!
If only Jack was here.
But he isn't.
This brief section of Oogie Boogie's dance was removed again for time purposes, something I never quite agreed with as it's only 17 seconds long. Mike Cuchuela was the animator who did this as cell animation, which was then projected on a semi-3D surface. Early on in the making of Nightmare Before Christmas, we undertook some tests with Jack, the lead character. This was to assure us, as well as Disney, that this guy had a real personality that translated to film. We started with these rudimentary wire armatures and then moved on to more sophisticated machined armatures. Tom Sanamon created. Eric Layton did most of these earliest tests. Here's some early tests doing walks as a stripped-down armature, then fully clothed. A lot of an animated character's personality is conveyed through how they move. And as you can see here, you can get quite a lot of emotion across without any speech and just in the timing and placement of the limbs through a walk. A good walk's one of the hardest things to do in any kind of animation. Here we've got Jack moving up in speed to a run. He's such a tall, skinny guy that we ran into strobing problems with him, so we had to sort of find ways to smooth out that movement. This is a test I concocted of a scene that never was to really exist in the film, but it was an attempt to go beyond just individual characters, really get into lighting, character interaction, different techniques.
Oh, Zero, my only friend. How can I even show my face in this world or any other world ever again? Woe, grief, and blackest lamentation. If only someone had the power to reach out and release me from this unendurable torment. Someone who might put an end to my meaningless existence. Someone that... Thinking of me, Mr. Skellington? Now don't act so surprised.
Early on tests with Sally were leaning in a direction of her being very much the living rag doll she is, where she's unsteady, unsure of herself, hasn't really learned to walk that well. And while these are very interesting and entertaining, she often looked like she was drunk or about to fall to pieces, so we ended up settling on a little more stable movement for her. Here are some test examples of how the ghost-like effect of Zero was combined with Jack, both optically and in the camera, on the original negative by use of a beam splitter, the half-silvered mirror in front of the lens to reflect a separately illuminated image, in this case our ghost dog Zero, whereby you can control his luminosity by raising or lowering the light source on him. When these two scenes are cut together, you can see that the two techniques match very well. Here's Zero, the ghost dog, beam split in, an old-fashioned technique to give him a ghostly appearance where he's reflected at half exposure into the lens.